So I'm talking to my friend Bart DeMonk, and we're talking about CHAINge, and that's CHAINge, CHAINge, and that's a conference that Bart is. What are you, the chair? Is that
I'm
the
the chair
title?
of the conference, and it's change as in supply chain. It's no funny thing to say change, but with AI from artificial intelligence, nothing. It's supply chain and the change we're making, hence change.
So, by the way, I'll make sure we put a link to your LinkedIn profile, link to your website. Any of the links you give me, we'll put in the show notes, and I'll look for that article that Craig Fuller wrote about Project 44. So again, I'm talking to my friend Bart. We're talking about CHAINge, AI, and the future of freight. So we did talk about the conference, and that is coming up September 9th and 10th in Columbus, Ohio. That is a huge supply chain hub, and it's going to become even a bigger supply chain hub. The weather will be beautiful in September 9th and 10th. It is a college town. I would highly recommend you get there. Um, Next, we talked about talent. And you said all of your travels, you've been to Europe, you've been all over lately, and everybody's talking about talent, not AI. And we've kind of jumped to the next cool thing, which is AI. And we need to focus more on talent. And that younger generation, there's fewer of them. They're better educated, they're wealthier, they're bigger on tech than ever before. And they have choices. They will not take a job where you say, hey, you got to pay your dues. You're gonna be grinding away in Excel spreadsheets and doing data entry. They won't come. I mean, some will, but that you're not going to get the very best talent if you're not going to provide a job that is worthy of them.
Just one thing, Joe. I will say they talk too much about technology, not enough about talent, right? That's why I bring it up, because technology without the talent is not going to work. It's creating the right intersection between the two is truly making you successful.
Yes. And that old saying is, you will not be replaced by AI. You'll be replaced by a person using AI. And I think, at least in the beginning, from what I understand, we will be the supervisors and managers of AI. There will be workflows that you're responsible for. And by the way, we still need a human to blame and potentially fire if that AI isn't working properly.
Yeah, it's hard to fire a computer, right? That's why when you talk robots, you can talk artificial intelligence because you're changing the person. I like to use the term AI augmented intelligence. It's still the human, but you're giving the tools to augment their capability.
Yes, talent is more important than ever. And by the way, we talked about young people. I will talk also about the older people. We have a ton of great talent that is retiring, and the people have more money than ever before, and they can retire. A lot of people who are still hanging around because they enjoy working. I think we're going to have to find alternative ways to work with people, whether they're a driver that you really like, who only wants to work 6 months a year. Do it. Somewhere along the line, somebody said 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. I think we're going to make accommodations for parents, people who, for whatever reason, have a different lifestyle, who say, I don't want to work in the summer when my kids are home. I think we need to open our minds to what talent wants. And by the way, with the way computers and our phones and everything else works, doesn't really matter where they're at. And I know we've gotten away from remote work, but I do think we have to really think, what does the very best talent want? Not just money-wise, but lifestyle-wise. Because I think if you can capture someone with the lifestyle, you're going to be way ahead of the game. Last but not least, we had a long talk about the changes that are coming in technology, especially related to AI. We talked about Project 44. Project 44 changed the game when they brought in visibility. I don't know how many years ago, but it changed everything on my podcast. 50 companies in a row wanted to talk about visibility tools. And now they're changing it again with kind of I don't know, how would you describe it? What kind of platform?
Decision intelligence platform. And again, it's an evolution, right? So it's not a change. It's no going away from the original vision. If you talk, and hope you get a chance to talk to Jet and you'll hear what his original vision is. That was always the vision. The thing is, you have to start collecting the data, and you also have to obviously give technology the time to catch up, because we have so much data. We finally are getting to the level where AI is smart enough to deal with all the data. We did even 5 years ago. We couldn't do what we can do today.
So they're not upending what they do. They're going to continue doing what they do. This is an evolution of the product. And by the way, we all want an evolution of the product. I think initially they were just saying, we're over the road domestic, and then all of a sudden they were global. I mean, it seemed like that happened overnight.
Well, remember in 2016, right? When you had no idea where a truck was and you show where the truck was on the map, people go like, this is genius.
I know.
Today is the status quo. It's the minimum required capability. So that's normal. I think that's normal. You have to evolve from that. The worst that you can do is not evolving. And I think what they do very well is listening to their customers, talking to their advisors, really understanding what is the true need in the market, and how do we create continuously more value also with the existing customers. So that's where all of this evolution to this new platforms come.
And by the way, not just anybody can do this because to get what they have now, they have made acquisitions, they made upgrades, upgrade after. I mean, you were there for a while. I know you're still close to them. They were running fast. And so,
Look at it, Joe, like a telecom company, right? Everyone can start a new cell phone service, but you won't have the 5G infrastructure that these existing provider have. So the only way that you would be able to start that phone company is if you can leverage the existing infrastructure, which obviously the vendors in this space will do. That's really where a lot of the investment went in. It's creating the networks, creating the data, and we know how segmented logistics is, right? Globally. I mean, one region alone is mind blowing, right? Over 1 million fleets in the US alone. Look at that from a global perspective across modes. It's just incredibly complex and incredibly hard to do.
I love it. I love it. So put a big old bow on this one. I know we talked about a whole lot, but put a big old bow on this, Bart DeMonk. Final thoughts on the topic.
Yeah, I would say spend enough time, whether you're a leader, whether you're a manager, whatever it is, or if you're an employee, around training. Train your people. If you want to use AI, the best thing is to give training around what AI is, how you're going to use it, how it really helps people, and then turn that into upskilling your people and empowering your people, because your people are also your resource to say, hey, we do this every day. We have an idea of how we can make this better. So by really creating a culture of innovation, I think is the way forward to creating the best supply chains, but also being able to set the stage to get the best talent out there to want to come and work for your organization. And one quick reference I'll make with that, and I'll hand it back over to Joe, because you talked about automotive. A few years ago, I was at a conference. It was all about autonomous vehicles. And there was a lot of the new vendors out there, and there was also a lot of the established automotive manufacturers out there. There was a professor there, and he said, okay, I have a lot of students that are graduating this year. They have a short list of companies they want to go work for. And he looked right in the audience and he said, and by the way, and he looked at the General Motors and the Fords and all those companies, said, none of you are on that list. So how do you create an established technology in industries that are a little bit more maybe viewed as old fashioned? How do you create that right culture of innovation to continue bringing in the best talent so you can become and remain the kind of leader in your industry?